I'm so excited to share with you a new model for leveraging your expertise. Let's start off with a question. What is one thing a prisoner and an expert have in common? Well, handcuffs. You might say, well, that's really weird. Of course, we understand why a prisoner would have handcuffs, but we have no idea why you say an expert would have handcuffs. We'll get into that in a minute. Today, I will share with you three things. There's an old model for using expertise that you're all familiar with. And then there's a new model for leveraging expertise in a whole new way that I will share with you. And lastly, I will talk about obstacles, questions, and opportunities that arise from that. So here's the old model. Somebody learns a lot of information in a specific field and they become an expert. They practice being that expert for a long time, and the point is they become indispensable. That is the expert's value. Over the time of them being an expert, certainly they pass on some of that expertise to apprentices, but they still are always conscious, or at least subconsciously, they remain indispensable. And then right before retirement, they pass on as much as humanly possible to one or a few persons. And hopefully those people they train stay around. But typically it's too little and too late. And a lot of expertise, creative ideas, etc., are taken to the grave, quite frankly, by that person. Also, expertise turns into the handcuffs I mentioned at the beginning. Experts can barely go on vacation because there's knowledge in their head that is nowhere else. And so people are calling or emailing or texting saying, hey, Joe, hey, Mary, hi, Steph, how do I do this? Oh, we have this problem. What do I do? I think we're all familiar with this. Now, today, we are in an era that some call super change. Super change is an era where right now, everything is changing faster than ever, and it's happening everywhere. How long companies are staying on the S&P index, for example, has changed from 33 years to now only 14. It used to take us 13 years to sequence the human genome. Now it takes only an hour. The amount of data is doubling every 2 years, doubling. And we are teaching our kids in school for jobs, preparing them for jobs that are not even around yet. So here's the new model of leveraging expertise. As before, of course, you learn, but then you pass it on now, and you pass it on a systematic and leverageable way. And I will share with you in a minute how that actually is done. But the point is you shed the handcuffs. You make yourself indispensable from the point of view of what you know now. But you give yourself the freedom to think of new things, think of new ideas, think across disciplines, and implement new ideas. Importantly, in the time of super change, we've got to work on staying current, and we got to keep on adapting. I think we just got a huge lesson in that with the COVID. Keep on adapting and pivoting. So you might say, gosh, Steph, are you nuts? Share everything? What about secret information? Are you saying I should give away my competitive edge by telling everything to everybody? No, I'm not saying that. But teach your team. Teach the right people. And the other question, of course, is won't I become obsolete and irrelevant? Basically, I'm slitting my own throat by doing what you're saying. Well, actually, doing what I'm suggesting here is the way to survive and thrive in the time of super change. Because today, we have much faster turnover. The expertise changes so much faster, and we must train junior experts more quickly. Here's an example. In 2010, we had a sharp drop in the demand for architects. As a result, many senior architects had to find different kinds of employment. Then, a few years later, as the economy went back up, there were no more senior architects, or very few to find. So as a result, the industry had to figure out how are we creating senior architects in 3 years, let's say, instead of 10. And if we don't do that, then we become obsolete and irrelevant. So how do we do this? Well, I have a process called brilliance extraction. What we do is we map your expertise areas first, and then we pick an area to start with, and then we literally extract your brilliance. This is, the knowledge that you have down pat, that's in your head. That's the stuff that people call you about when you're on vacation. And we spool it up systematically like this picture shows. So then we convert it into a training system. It can be online or offline, it can be checklists, can be manuals, can be videos, can be learning management systems. But the point is, as soon as you get started, you immediately get a return on your investment. Here are some examples. I've done this with a software company. The guy is an outright genius, and it frees up his time to create new products. In fact, as we were doing this, we simplified, clarified what he's doing so that others, not nearly as smart as him, can do this. And in the process, we actually created a new product. Also, get a grip on the value of your business is an educational course. It used to be taught offline. Now it can be taught online. Also, a digital marketing agency. We are capturing all their recurring tasks. And that, again, frees up the owner to do new exciting things, and he's getting his agency ready for sale. So what is the impact of all this? Innovators, visionaries, experts are no longer tied up as long. We get to do more important things. And I ask you this, which problems could you solve when you free up your time and pass on what you know now? What problems could you solve? That's what I invite you to think about. Thank you very much.